Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Carrie, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I am here for another just in case video. These are new to my page, so in case you've forgotten, K stands for copy and stamp everything. And I'm going to show you an old card that I made, and then I gave a whole pile of cards to a neighbor who has just recently moved, and she baked us some cookies and she used one of my cards. And unfortunately, the day that she left it in the door was one of our pouring, storming days. So you can see that, you know, the color has run and everything, but I still liked the design of the card. So I held on to it, not only because I really like this, this neighbor and I'm going to miss her very much, but also because I wanted to copy it. So that is what I'm going to do today. This particular original one actually was in a big kit that Stampin' Up! Used to sell, and it had all the pieces like pre-ready for you. So I'm going to copy it. For my base, I am going to use Misty Moonlight, which is one of our in colors. It's one of the colors that will be going away this spring. So if you don't have it, you might want to grab it pretty quickly. So I left my bone folder, so I was using my fingers. So now I'm just going to pretty much copy it. Let me give you measurements as I go. They are a little bit different than what is on there. This is 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm just going to adhere that onto the front of the card base. I would definitely put a piece of basic white on the inside of this card also, just because it doesn't have the light. It's dark. It's dark is what I'm trying to say. So, oh my golly. All right. So now I'm just going to center that. You know how I feel about perfection. It's probably not going to be perfectly centered, but that is my life. And then this is a piece of our amazing, beautiful hand-penned cardstock, or I'm sorry, designer series paper. So I'm going to also add that. Oh, what's going on? All right, let me grab a different one because I think that one just ran out of goop. I'm just going to grab my multi-adhesive here and just put it on there because it was the fastest one to grab. And I'm going to set this off center, but kind of center it up and down. I'm not worried about it being perfect, but I definitely want it off center. And then I cut this star out of the same designer series paper, but I really liked the flowers on it and I thought it would be pretty. So what I'm going to do so that it stands out a little bit better is pretty much the same thing that I did when I made this card from the kit. I don't know how well you can see that, but the edges do have some color on them. So I'm going to use one of our blending brushes and just sort of get the edges. Now, it's not going to come out perfectly even, and that's when you're doing this kind of a thing, unless you really want to make it perfect, don't use a sponge. Use a marker or something to do the edges, which you guys have seen me do before. Now, I'm bending that back so that I can kind of get better into the corner without getting it all over the edge of the star. I hope that makes sense to you. Because see, if I were to keep going here trying to get into that, I would be getting it all over the place. So if I bend this kind of out of the way, I can get in there and not really get anything on that center part of the star. Now that looks a little uneven, so there we go. So I know this is a little boring watching me do this. I generally do a lot of this stuff before, so you guys don't have to watch. But then I have to remind myself that just because many of us know how to do it doesn't mean everybody who watches my videos knows how to do this kind of thing. So I decided to do it for you guys today. So there is that. And this is Misty Moonlight ink so that it kind of coordinates with everything. And because I bent it back, I didn't really plan on this, but it made the star pop up a little bit. So I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to put dimensionals just in the center and not on the edges. And I'm going to put a lot because I want it to stay poofy in the center, if that makes sense. So there, that is more than I would normally use, obviously, but I want this centerpiece to stay popped up. So you guys all know how to use dimensionals. These are the mini dimensionals. I don't know if you saw Tiny Tip Tuesday where I went over all of our adhesives. If you missed that, you can find that on my Facebook page. Just scroll down. I'm also hoping that you will follow my Facebook page. If you don't already, it's facebook.com/Memory Inkers, which is right up there. And now I'm kind of looking at this to see how the flowers are growing. And what I notice is this right here, and I've decided that and the fact that this leaf is going up, that is going to be my up. So I am just going to, I'm not even adhering the tips of the star. I just did the center, so it's up, and I don't know if that's showing, but there is now some dimension. It's kind of poofy. And then I am going to stamp the sentiment Happy Birthday onto some basic white. And this star is cut out of this awesome die set. Isn't this gorgeous? Look at this swirly. I'm going to show you another card that I did that does this. And this is called Stitch Stars, and it is in the annual catalog. And I'm going to cut out this sentiment with one of the circles from the Layering Circles framelits. You can see they come in straight circles like I'm using, but they also have scallops, and they will mat each other. So if you wanted to mat this, you could. Okay, so I'm going to take this over to my Stampin' Cut and Emboss, which is off camera. And hopefully get that. My fingers are always full of adhesive and stuff, so while you were waiting for me to do this, say hello, tell me where you're from, let me know if you shared this video, and you know, those of you who follow me know that if you share my videos, then you will be in a drawing, and the drawing's going to be coming up because it's near the end of the month, and I draw the following month. So make sure you let me know that you shared. If you're watching this video from a shared video and you'd like to follow me, I'm at facebook.com/Memory Inkers. Okay, so now I have the Happy Birthday sentiment. So now I'm going to just very lightly, I'm not going to really even add any extra ink. I'm just very lightly going around the edges, and I'm being kind of careful to just stay on the edge. You could also do this with a marker, which is something I've showed you guys a few times. So that's going to end up on there, but let me close this so I don't make a big mess. So now I am going to add some strips. Now I didn't have the same pieces. I mean, I could have cut them out, but I decided to use a piece of Pool Party, which actually matches the flower, and a piece of this awesome glitter paper. This is the Bedazzling 6x6. This is a sneak peek from Celebration. This is a pack of 8 pieces of this gorgeous, it is so beautiful. And you can get this free starting August 3rd with a $50 product purchase. So if you've never been around for Stampin' Up! Celebration, you are in for a treat. Okay, so now I am going to cut these down, but before I do, I am going to put them through on the, what is this called? Banner Pick-a-Punch. So when you're doing something this thin, it will fit in here. So you can slide it. If you look, this is 3/4 of an inch. Both of them are. So I can slide that in there. If you're worried about it, you can turn it upside down, but that should be pretty centered. Then I'm just going to punch, and it does, let me make sure I know, it does, I didn't write it down. Oh, I did, hang on. It does 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and 1 inch. So maybe these are 1/2 inch because they're going to the smallest one. Yep, they're 1/2 inch, sorry about that. 1/2 inch strips. Now this one is really shorter, so I'm looking at it to make sure it's okay. Okay, now you know you can also cut your dovetails with your snips. So I want to put these together, and on the original the gold foil is on the bottom, but I'm loving this so much that I think I want it to be on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a little adhesive on here, and I am going to put this on here like so, and I'm just going to hold it for just a second to get it to adhere together, and then measure it in. Okay, so that is going to go right like that. I'm just going to put a little bit more adhesive on the back. And let's see, where do I want the happy birthday? I'm going to have it lower. So I'm going to put that right like that on there. And then I am going to use some of this awesome gold. It's called Simply Elegant Trim. It's gold and silver. This is gold, so I'm going to use the gold. And I'm going to use a piece of tear and tape to hold it in place where I'm going to start it. Okay, so my happy birthday is going to be here, so I'm going to go ahead and put that underneath there and then pull that off. You don't have to do this, but I'm just not, you know, these messy pieces of string, we're not good friends. So I always have to kind of fake it. So I'm going to wind it around, and you kind of have to, when it's been on a roll like that, you kind of have to let it decide how it's going to circle, because sometimes circling it on your fingers doesn't work because it wants to twist and do figure eights and stuff like that. So I'm kind of letting it tell me where it wants to go, and that looks about right. See how this end I'm going to cut off is all loopy and not in a good way. So now I'm going to take these pieces, and I know where the ends are, and I am going to stick them onto that piece, and I'm going to cut off this end right here because I don't want it. I don't want the end to poke out. I don't always care, but I'm going to care on this one. Bring it down here, snip it down. Now that looks nice and weird, right? You can keep it like that if that makes you happy. And then I'm going to take the happy birthday, and again, I'm going to put dimensionals on that. But you can see that I am pretty much following the same design as the card that I'm casing. And that is just how easy it is to like do things like this, because you really don't have to make them exact. Like I'm noticing this doesn't want to go down now, so I'm going to take this and carefully set it underneath there so that it stays more in place. I'm going to play with it a little bit. Like I said, I'm not really good friends with this making this circles. I think it's cool, but I just don't always have that great of luck when I do it. So now I'm going to put that on there. So we're almost done. Now I didn't have, these are really cool, like wood glittered stars. They're very cool. I don't have anything like that currently in our product line, so I just decided to grab our Gilded Gems, and I'm going to use the really big ones and just add them as I see fit. And as you know, putting these on, that probably needs a second one because that's a little lower. There. You know that you want to put on any of your bling. You kind of want to do it in uneven numbers. So I'm going to do 3. So there is the bling. And that is my cased card. What do you think? Let me know what you think of the design and see how easy it was for me just to copy. And this was from a kit. So everything, and when I mean everything in it was part of the kit. The star was already cut out. The why thank you was already cut out. All the little gems and the pieces, and the only thing I had to do was glue it all together. And again, like reminder in case you just popped in, this one was caught in the rain. But I want to show you another one that I cased. And remember when I said that this swirly thing was so cool? This is another card that is a case of this card. And it is for Christmas. This also uses one of the new stamps and dies from the new mini catalog and the sentiment. But what's cool about this particular die here is the stars cut out other stars. So I stuck one of them inside this star, but actually this bigger star was inside that. So if you look at all these little hollow stars, I've got them floating around. This is different. This is similar to what I showed you. I mean, it's the exact same size star that I showed you on Tiny Tip Tuesday when I was showing you the different adhesives. But these are my 3 cards, the original and then the 2 that I cased. So don't worry about being an original stamper. I can guarantee you that after 20 plus years as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I probably don't have any original thoughts. They are some kind of collaboration of some other things that I have seen other people do or that I've done in the past, or and that's totally okay. It's totally okay. So I think most people are flattered. I know I am if you copy something that I did. So don't rack your brain. If you're trying to get yourself excited about a crafting and you've hit that fog, just go ahead and copy something. It's a lot of fun. All right, everybody, have a fabulous Tuesday. I will see you back here for Saturday Sip. Bye.